I'll tell you when we're live. Ooh. Hello, everyone. We are officially live. Let me get back to Zoom. All right, I guess I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, everyone on Facebook who is watching this and will be watching a little later. My name is Zornitsa Stoyanova. I am an independent choreographer. I am based between Philadelphia and Sofia, Bulgaria at present. And about 6 years ago, I started doing a program called Get What You Need as a monthly series for dancers to be able to show their work and get feedback. Get What You Need became a much larger residency last year, and we're continuing the residency again with these wonderful people who you're about to hear from. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time on the application, so if anybody has any questions at any time, please put it in the comments on Facebook. We'll get back to you either immediately. I'll be trying to do that or right after the broadcast. So whoever so feels, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Keila Cordova, local choreographer and former space maven. Glad to be here and helping answer some questions about the GWYN residency.
Hi, my name is Janna Meiring, and I'm a movement artist and teacher in Philadelphia. And I was an artist last year as part of the residency. So I was really excited to be a part of this team to bring it into the next year. And I'm also happy to be here to support you all in that process.
Hi, I'm Kenwyn Samuel. I'm a multidisciplinary performance artist in Philadelphia and an administrator. I was interning for one of the artists last year in the residency, and I was super interested in letting it continue. And so I popped a little email over, and I'm really excited to work on it.
Yay. I am going to share my screen with everybody right now so that everybody can see in your little window, at least in my little window, what the application looks like. You can find the application on the website that I have under my face. And it's also on Facebook in the event. All right. Here you go. And one of the things that we talk about a lot is what does it mean to get what you need as an artist during a pandemic and a social global crisis? That's something that I've been thinking a lot about, and there's no right or wrong answer to it. Of course, everybody's going to have their own process in it. Before I go through this application, I wanted to just say that Get What You Need used to be, last year it was a live performance event that happened every single month. Obviously, that may not be available for the whole year. So we are really pooling resources to figure out what can it be. It is an artist-led residency. So here you go. I'm just gonna read this straight up. And then we'll go through it and kind of clarify some of the questions we're asking in the application and where we're coming from. In our effort to address this question, Get What You Need residency continues to provide 2 Philadelphia dance artists with the opportunity to create through the support of shared resources and time. Get What You Need, or as we call it, GWYN, is a consortium of artist professionals creatives and collaborative partners based in Philadelphia. You see us. We are me, Zornitsa, Keila, Janna, and Kenwyn. GWYN is a local virtual residency designed to support movement performance makers living and working in the Philadelphia area. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but Philadelphia, the broader 5 boroughs of Philadelphia. We support new work from all contemporary dance forms as long as they're working towards public engagement. And engagement could be performance, a virtual happening, or something completely new and unheard of before. So tell us what you want to do, and we'd be happy to learn about it. If a GWYN artist in residency, as a GWYN artist in residency, you'll be able to develop your work by showing or sharing it monthly through virtual means with only your mentors, or publicly if you wish, like similar to Facebook Live or in some other platform that you prefer. The 2 GWYN artists function as a cohort and are required to be present for each other's monthly meetings and showings, always on a Saturday during the day, and exact dates are flexible. I'm saying this mostly because we all 4 tend to be free on Saturday, and that's why we decided that Saturdays would be a great time for everybody to meet. If there are any other times that are better, of course, we can talk about it at a later point. GWYN is an artist-led residency where resources are shared. The goal is to fill the need for making and presenting performance at this time. GWYN residency will culminate in a public showing in May 2021. Maybe a live showing, but we're going to be flexible. We don't know. We're hoping. A one-time stipend of $200 for each artist will be provided, which can be either paid all at once, frankly, whenever you want as an artist, like we can provide that, or it could be paid into installments, one at the end and one at the beginning. Residency spans from November 2020 to May 2021. The deadline for, I would say the deadline that's the most important, is November 1st. We're going to take 18 days to read all of the applications and rate them and share them with other local artists in Philadelphia, and they will rate them. The goal is for each application to be read by at least 3 different independent of each other people and rated, so that there's a little bit more of it's a better way of rating and rating the applications. As a GWYN artist, you would have access to the following resources, and there is a long list of resources at the end of this, which I highly recommend to go to the link. If you go to bodymail.org and get what you need, then you'll find that link too. So I'm just going to read this quickly. The long list is there. Professionals in the field contributing their knowledge, expertise, experience and expertise in contemporary dance, theater, somatic movement, and performance art forms. Support to find rehearsal studio space in Philadelphia area. A lot of them closed, so maybe you do need support from that. Facilitation and coaching through process and development stages. Support in performance praxis, creating and placing work in social context, technical guidance in set, costume, makeup, and other design elements. I would add in brackets that includes stage and online video platform. Sound, video, and editing tools, again, for stage or online. Invite an outside artist as a guide during your process. What we mean by that is that the 2 artists will have the opportunity to choose somebody who they both agree on to invite for 2 meetings. That person would be paid. That person could be anyone that they feel that they would gain knowledge from or they would like to participate in their process. So more about that we can talk after the application. Administration, accounting, legal, and self-producing tools and practices. We've all self-produced so much, so we are happy to share everything about that. Basic website tools and accessibility, direct access to the consortium, which is us four, and all their combined resources, meaning all of our friends and people we know everywhere. Full list of all our shared resources you can find on the Body Meld website, which you can see there, and I already told you how to find that. So this is important. Eligibility. Artists need to have lived and presented work in Philadelphia area for at least 1 year. Students are not eligible to apply. This is we made this distinction clearly because we feel that as students already get a lot of resources and a lot of opportunities. They have teachers that are available to them, and they have studios that are available to them, but professional artists don't have that. So that's the reason students are not allowed to participate. Artists can apply at any stage of their career. 2 residents will be chosen from the applicants, and residents will be chosen on clarity of research proposed, commitment to all monthly meetings. Again, they're not set dates, but you have to be able to commit to a monthly meeting on a Saturday, and then we'll match you with somebody who is able to do those Saturdays. And of course, compatibility of artistic need to our current resources. That's really, really important. So please look at the resources before you even go into applying for this and see like, oh, is this for me? Could I gain from this, or do I already maybe have all these resources and it's not gonna be really that helpful. I wish I had a theater. We all wish we had a theater. Unfortunately, this get what you need at the moment cannot necessarily provide that kind of resource. The review panel is us, and depending on how many applications we get, if we get as many as last year, we will invite 4 or 5 other local artists to review. The platform is completely free of charge to the artists and residents and the viewers. And it is made possible by a multitude of small individual donations from all over the world. Hello, I just will ask for money shortly to make this happen. If you have any questions, you can, of course, always comment on the Facebook. You can always email me personally at zornitsa@bodymeld.org. And I'm gonna pass now the I'm going to just pass to somebody else. We would go through the application one question at a time, and I'm just going to check on Facebook. Would anybody else like to share their screen, or should I just keep my screen up with application?
Let's keep your screen up.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know if I can.
All right, I'm just gonna, so I'm just scrolling and saying, obviously, name. What are your preferred pronouns? I hope you know what that is. Please answer that. Phone is really important for later because it's so much easier to text sometimes, especially when we're trying to meet, or even if we have a question that's super simple, we can just text you and get a quick answer. So yeah, phone. Present address, this is because we want you to live in the Philadelphia area. Please, if you live almost full-time in New York and sometimes in Philly, talk to us, ask us, but maybe it's not a good option. Maybe GWYN is not a good option for you. Please upload your CV, resume, or bio. Don't upload all of it. Just upload one little thing so that we kind of get a sense, especially if we don't know you personally, because Philly is small. At least one of us might know you, but just give us a little something. so that we get a sense of what have you done in the past. Tell us about, okay, I'm gonna pass this next one, which is tell us what you'd like to work on in 5-6 sentences. Think the flashy elevator version. To, I don't know, Keila or Janna or Kenwyn, would you like to tackle that?
Let's see. Tell us what you'd like to work on in 5 to 6 sentences. Think the flashy elevator speech version. So that is an opportunity to tell us what your dream is, and it can sound overwhelming and intimidating to try to envision.
Whoa, sorry about that.
What happened?
I'm sharing a screen, so I can't.
Can't move the application.
Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
So it's just an opportunity for you to think more deeply about the project that you're working on, and an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper in your vision.
Yeah, I would add that
What is happening?
it looks okay on my end. I don't know what's happening for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you
right.
shared specifically this window, you can have other windows open and we can't see it.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to absolutely everybody. This is a fluke. What I did is that I opened Facebook Live so that I could see ourselves and try to answer questions, but the sound got totally crazy. So I am not going to do that. I was hoping that I was going to be able to answer questions as they arose in real life, but it's not going to happen. So I'm sorry, Keila, to interrupt.
Yeah.
So let's
You're
keep
good.
going.
You're good.
All right,
Go
we're
ahead,
good. I'm
Janna.
stopping.
Go ahead, Janna.
I just wanted to add, in terms of those 5 to 6 sentences, is that one thing that we did talk about is, some folks are like really adept at writing, and like for myself, I have a lot of writing experience, and so that piece felt really kind of easy for me. So if it feels challenging for you to get all of your big idea into a few sentences, I would just encourage you to think about like write out the big version and then go through it a few times and just pick out the things that really pop, like that really like that really sort of hone in the words that really hone into the feeling or the thing that you're trying to get at, and know that it doesn't have to be perfect. You can even have somebody read it a few times and get some feedback. So try not to let that get too overwhelming. If you're not a person who likes to write a lot, or that short space feels really too short, we're really going to be looking at the whole application and not just that one section. So just wanted to throw that in there.
That's awesome. Kenwyn, did you have anything to add?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty good now.
I had one thing to add, which I didn't mention at the beginning. We asked this big question, I'm going to scroll it, which is, what does it mean to get what you need as an artist during a pandemic and a social justice global crisis? I want to make sure that people know that we're not necessarily looking for work or artists that are actively working politically or addressing the pandemic or addressing the social justice global crisis. We're looking for artists, period, that are working right now. So yes, we're absolutely welcoming artists who are working on the pandemic and the social justice global crisis, but we're also welcoming just as much people who are working in all other themes and variations. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The next question up is who with? Please list names and short bios of all collaborators, about 200 words per collaborator. So clearly this is to share your collaborators, but if you are primarily working on this and are looking to use this residency to work on your own, not including a collaborator is not a demerit. Just be really honest about your process and your intent. Don't feel that this is the type of question where you have to fill it or you're going to be generating a weaker application.
Amen. Absolutely.
So
and
next,
you don't have to, you don't have to fill the 200 words.
Okay, so next question, does this project have any other support and in what shape or form? So there's a lot of examples of this. We just put a few here. Someone who's making food, donating socks for dancers or snacks, rehearsing in someone's living room or getting a big grant. So a lot of this stuff, you know, we sort of pulled from, you know, what things used to be like when we were able to get together in spaces. But obviously there's also a lot of other ways that support can come in for you. So just kind of I would recommend just taking a few moments to really think about, like, how are you already resourced? And there's just so many ways. I think in a lot of our discussions, we realized that we really are resourced. Like when we were coming up with a list of stuff for each of us, you know, we all contributed things that we could personally contribute, or, you know, folks we knew, or, you know, different resources we might have access to, or have a kind of a shortcut access to. I was personally really surprised. I think we were all a little surprised, but like, wow, that's so much. So just take a few minutes to think about what you've already got going on, and be honest with us and let us know. It's not going to eliminate you from the possibility of getting it. If you do have some resources, you know, we're not looking to hear from you that everything is destitute, but it could be really difficult for you, and we want to hear that too. So just to let you know, there's a lot of ways that resourcing happens, and a lot of ways that it means for us all individually. So we really wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, just be really honest about what you have and what you need. I think it's the best way to help us to gauge how we can be helpful, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, this residency is designed to support you as an artist. And we want to make sure that, you know, what we have at the moment will interface best with the artists who are selected. Kenwyn, do you want to read the next one?
Yep. Do you have a presentation date or a kind of production outside of GWYN planned? For example, working towards a fringe show, Instagram, living room theater for your family. Tell us more about it. It's totally okay if you don't. We just want to know if you're like working towards a specific goal. And it doesn't have to be, I want to do Fringe 2020. It could be, I want to incrementally show things over Instagram. I just want to do an Instagram live and ask people questions, or I want to eventually do Fringe with this piece, or anything really. I want to stand outside and yell at somebody's window.
And I want to just add something to this, because I touched on it a little bit in the beginning. We are really looking for people that are looking for public. It's not just the research in the art, but we want people, and we want to support people who are looking to present it to the public. Now, how that happens is like a rainbow of ways that could happen. So tell us what we don't know. And it's okay if you don't, if you're just like, I'm so committed to this idea and I haven't figured out how it's going to happen. And I'm hoping that the GWYN final show would be that thing. And that's absolutely okay.
Yeah, we're really excited about, all of the ideas that haven't been thought of yet. So, really look at this as an opportunity to springboard your imagination and to think outside of the box and to look at this very strange moment in time that we are all sitting at as an opportunity, to really create and to think of how to present and reach an audience in a new and innovative fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my turn again, or is it Janna's?
Go ahead, Z.
All right. What stage of development is this work? Have you presented this as a work in progress before? I think this is pretty self-explanatory. And again, work in progress could be like, I showed it to my best friend once and I'm so scared and vulnerable to keep going forward. And I want to use GWYN for that opportunity. Or it could be, I've been working on this for a year and I'm still at the beginning of it and I'm looking forward to make it. I really want to say that we are not looking for works that are iterations of other works. Mm-hmm. So if you all of a sudden feel the need to make a hip hop version of the Nutcracker, for example, we're really looking for new dance. Mm-hmm. I would say dance too, because if you have a theatrical performance or a performance that blends genres and movement is in its core, yes, absolutely, it's for GWYN. As long as movement is in its core and you're able to tell us how that is, yes, absolutely, this is where your work belongs. Anything else you guys want to add about?
No, I thought that was great. I mean, even if, like Zornitsa said, you've only shared a rough draft of the work with your cat, your dog, and your goldfish, it's totally fine. They give their own feedback, right? Please send us one link of sample work and timestamp of when to start watching. Give us a short description. And this is our opportunity to get to know you in a way that what words you provide in the application may not cover. We want to know a little bit more about you and what you do.
Okay, I don't think we have anything to add. It's pretty straightforward.
Move it.
Okay, next question. What is your methodology in creating new work? And do you have a research question? Please describe how you make performance work or how you would do it now. Respond in the fashion you need, but please don't make it 5 pages. We did want to give a little bit of space for this. I know we limited some of the other responses to 200 or 150 words. There is a little bit more space here because we recognize that it is a process in itself to describe the way that you make work, and so there's definitely space for that. And we also don't want to go on for days. So we're all reading these things. So, just be kind and maybe don't make it 5 pages. But I think, in the essence, what we really want to do is hear from you about what your thinking process is and how you begin, how you navigate the middle, how you find your way to the end, what are the questions that are driving your work, and how it might be changing. I know these are a lot of questions and that can also be overwhelming. if you need any support on this question, I feel like this is kind of a big question. So if you definitely reach out to us and ask us if you have any questions about this in particular. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Keila,
Go ahead.
I wanted to just add that another way to approach it is just to think about it like mechanically. Of, all right, I usually make work and it takes me like a number of months or a year or 2 years, like different people do it in different ways. And I usually maybe it's not usually, maybe you've made only one work for stage before. Tell us how you did it. And we absolutely know that now is not what happened before, and now it's going to be different. Maybe just an idea of how you would maybe approach it differently without now knowing that we just can't really get together. We can't have a big show with applause and all that. Just give us an idea, and also an opportunity for you to dream. Like, what would your work be if you had to translate it into this new social context?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. And just to unpack the word methodology, I think we hear a word like methodology and we get very academic, and we think we're going to, there's going to be grades involved. Methodology just means we want to know how you do what you do, like what, if the question was, what is your methodology in waking up every day? Like maybe it's like you get up, you get a cup of coffee, and, so like it's just how you do what you do. So, just think of the question, like reword it if you need to sort of get away from the academia of the question. And we just want to know, what gets you up and going.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, for example, like I always start with dubstep, and like this is like how I start, and then I write poetry, and then I fit the poetry with my movement, and then find like issues, and it could be just truly anything and everything, or like I only think when I'm on the toilet. That is absolutely valid. So I'm just making it a little bit more fun and entertaining, but yeah, just tell us how it happens. We want to know.
How has the pandemic and ongoing social crisis changed or shifted your creative process? If so, in what way? Try to respond in 200 words or less. We just want to know if you've tried continuing your work during this, how have you been, shifting what you do, how you do it, where you do it has shifted for a lot of people. And it's okay if you like haven't figured it out yet. That's totally fine. Maybe this box is a way for you to think more creatively in how you could get this work going and up on its feet. Maybe this is the space to think about, oh, well, I can do this out of the box way of like creating this small dance piece in a closet, or, going out into the park. I have a whole park across the street from my apartment, and I can just go there, and I just haven't thought of it yet,
Yeah, this is
right.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a continuation to the previous question. So you can, if you feel more comfortable, you can write one little thing and that, like one larger thing, and then just fit the paragraph that fit into those two questions.
Yeah, and like Zornitsa mentioned earlier, we're not really necessarily looking for works that are specifically addressing the issues that are going on at the moment, but we all are impacted, and so we're just curious, if how it's impacted you personally and your process, your creative process.
Yeah, specifically in how it's impacted your work. Yeah, just let us know.
Yeah. I think it's my turn again. What do you hope to achieve during this residency? Please keep it short. It's only a 7-month-long residency, and we only have one meeting per month. So yeah, just let us know what you're. Again, I would say, like, look at all the resources before deciding to do this application. See if this is something you really want to do and commit to. We're there to help you and guide you in whatever way you may need. Like the artist residence, it's an artist resident led program, so the artists will tell us what they need, and we will try to accomplish that and help everybody through the process. So be ambitious, but also know that it is 7 months. So that is only what, 7 meetings. And we would obviously everybody be working in between those 7 meetings. Yeah, just putting that out there. I don't know, do you guys have anything else to add about that?
I just wanted to point out, like Kenwyn mentioned, that maybe this opportunity, maybe GWYN is your first, opportunity this year to really think about getting back to connecting to your creative side.
Yeah.
Put that in, this question is an opportunity to unpack that and to talk about that a little bit more. And maybe what you've lost and what this residency could mean for you creatively. And if you were to dream beyond the scope of your own imagination, what could that possibly be? What could you possibly create and achieve in that 7-month window? So I think I'm next. I get a biggie. What resources?
Well, I think we should probably switch out for the little pieces of that.
Cool. What resources are most meaningful to you? Please choose up to 3. This is what we can offer at the moment. So I'll read the first 3. Support to find rehearsal studio space in the Philadelphia area, facilitation and coaching through process and development stages, support in performance praxis, creating and placing work in social context. Definitely support to find rehearsal studio space if you need it. It's definitely become, a greater issue in the studio. I myself have closed the 954 Dance Movement Collective this year. There have been a number of other studios that has closed as well, but we also know active spaces, and we can definitely help you with that. Other thoughts?
I have an overall thing to say about the question, but let's go through the list of possible.
Let's see. Technical guidance in set costume, makeup, and other design elements. Thoughts?
Both in person and online, and whatever space you decide to take up.
Yes. Yeah. And sound, video, and editing tools, which is the next one, is like the same thing. It just depends on the project you're proposing, what you're hoping to do, but we have the expertise. Some of us has the expertise in these things, both on stage and in video. Background.
The costume, the restrictions or freedom of costume choices on stage are different for video, as far as what would be effective. And we could definitely, we have the resources to talk about that with you. Invite an outside artist as a guide during your process. Zornitsa talked a little bit about that earlier, but that's definitely something that would be in conversation with the cohort of both artists selected. Administration, accounting, legal, and self-producing tools and practices. We've all self-produced, and we do have the information to help you have those conversations. Basic website tools and accessibility, direct access to the consortium and all their combined resources, professionals in the field contributing their knowledge, experience, and expertise in contemporary dance, and most importantly, other.
Yeah. So give us an other if there's something that you really, really don't see here and you really, really feel like you need, just give it, like, just tell us about it, because we might be able to offer it. We also might not be.
Yeah, this list is, oh, sorry to.
Oh, no, Janna.
I just wanted to say this specific list has been condensed down from a really thorough, when we talk, when I contributed the things I think I know, there was like, really, each one of us had specific examples of type of movement work or type of costume work or type of makeup. It's like this list does get much more specific, but these are generally condensed down areas that we know we can support. So there is a lot here.
And that's the other thing I wanted to say, is that we know that we want all of them. We need all of them. There's no question about it. Try to choose your top 3, and that way, in the short amount of time of 7 months, we know how we can focus. And of course, we are artists ourselves, and we know that as soon as you start, things shift, and different interests and different just things shift. So don't feel like this is you sign under it and you absolutely have to stick with this, but just give us an idea of what your top 3 needs at the moment are.
Yeah, and earlier we talked about, thinking about how you are already resourced, and this sort of comes into play here, because then it helps you to look at where, if you already have access to some of these things on the list that are here, and you can target filling in some of the other gaps that that you need beyond what you already have access to.
Yeah. Oh, last question.
Is there anything else you'd like us to know? What do you think is important about you that we haven't had a chance to express in this application? So we really talked a lot about, like all of these questions that we've posed, and also knowing that there's, so much to what goes into what might be challenging for you in making work, and making sure that it's completely accessible, regardless of ability or different levels of ability. So if you, for example, have a chronic illness and you have certain accommodations that you might need around this process, and you feel comfortable and want to let us know that. Also, it's okay if you have that and you don't want to share it. It does not have to be a factor at all. So just to give you some extra space to say whatever it is else that you feel like you need us to know, artistically or otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna stop sharing right now, so you can see where you can find the application on that link. Since I didn't realize I wasn't going to be able to do the live Facebook answering, I was wondering maybe we could go. We already made a possible questions list, and I was thinking that maybe we can look at that really briefly and see if there's something that we did not address. I'll do the first one, which is one of the questions we thought that people may have is, my work is in between genres and I don't know how to describe it, but it has movement in it. Could I still apply? And I talked a little bit about that earlier, and I said, yes, absolutely, as long as you make a case that movement is in the center of it, and it's not just something that happens like as a result of, I don't know, stage fight, for example.
Another question we thought might come up is, would I have to supply resources also? So I think the general answer to that is no, but that's one of the things that, and also it's like not a requirement, but also you might have some resources that could be supportive to the other artists, for example. And that's also one of the reasons we asked you to think about how you are resourced, because that does kind of come into the community, so to speak.
Yeah, I
as
think
part
it's
of your
always,
application. Yeah.
It's always a good idea to know what you yourself bring to the table, and to, you know, to be aware of what you might be able to share with others. Another question was, what are the expectations of the final show? And I think Zornitsa talked about that a little bit earlier, where, you know, surprise us, you know, in-person performance opportunities are limited. So, you know, definitely, you know, think of, you know, what virtual could mean beyond Zoom, you know, has Zoom, you know, been used to its full potential, or, you know, maybe it's just your iPhone and a, you know, camera and that closet that Kenwyn mentioned earlier, you know, surprise us.
Or it's the park, or it's an abandoned swimming pool, or an abandoned building where nobody is there, but you are, and the audience sees at the comfort of their home. Or maybe there is a screen that we mount on some building and it's viewed that way publicly. There are so many ideas out there.
Projection on a highway billboard, you know.
Well, I don't know if we have the money for that. We got to do some illegal stuff.
Would there be a possibility for in-person residency meetings is another question we thought people might ask. Probably not. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everything
We're gonna probably just want to continue to follow whatever guidelines are being set out there, and making sure everybody stays safe. I mean, I feel like that might be a collective decision if things start to change, you know.
And absolutely. And one thing I would say is that I am presently in Bulgaria. I moved to my home country, Bulgaria, when
you're going to have to fly
COVID
back
happened.
for those in-person meetings.
So I might just be always a screen. I mean, I'm coming back, but I don't know when. But I also want to say that the possibility of meeting at a park wearing masks is, or there's a plenty of parking structures where we could meet. That's not like if it's raining. There are options for going around that. Yes, maybe not in a theater, maybe not in a studio, maybe yes in a studio. Maybe for the final showing, if it's still the same, everybody quarantines for 2 weeks or gets a test, and then we all decide to get together and do something together, because we know that but this is again a collective decision that needs to be made. Oh, this is something. Is this restricted to Philadelphia artists? I was born in Philadelphia. Does that count? But I live in Baltimore, whatever. And the answer is yes, it's for Philly artists who have been doing work in Philadelphia for at least 1 year. So it's for the 5 counties, and we wrote it down, but I don't know if they're correct. So Brynmore, Swarthmore.
The counties Delaware. 5 counties are Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester County, Philadelphia County, and Delaware County.
Okay, thank you. We wrote other like random places we know around.
So it's sort of like the edges are they're a little fuzzy around the edges, but it's kind of like centrally located. You know, you might live a little bit outside Philly, but you are all in the community, in which case it's like obvious yes. So, you know, just be honest about where you're at.
And same thing, I want to say same thing with New Jersey. You might have an address to New Jersey, because I know many of us are moving home for whatever reason. And home for a lot of people could be New Jersey, but if you are still connected to the Philadelphia community, yes, this is for you. My home is Bulgaria. I moved with my parents. Yeah, a little far.
Make a case for it, and and let us know what the situation is.
Yeah.
We're definitely not defined by our addresses, and the more you can tell us, so we understand. Yes, I live in North Jersey, but that's because 2020. Let us know what the situation is so we can understand, and then we can best evaluate the situation. But this is a Philadelphia centered opportunity.
I'm going to skip the next one because I think we answered it. The next question we have on the list. I'm going to go with, I'm taking a year off from college, or I just graduated this past spring. Am I eligible? Does anybody else want to answer it?
Well, Zornitsa talked a little bit earlier about, the reason why that we made a decision to say that students are not eligible, essentially is because of resourcing. And so if you've just graduated, so that's sort of definitely an edge of like, well, you kind of could go either way. You still might have a little access to some resources, but you're also just like getting out there on your own. This is new space for you. So really, we just ask that you provide some examples of like how you're actively working in your career dance outside of academia. It's like it might be an appropriate step for you to apply for this residency if you're really starting to work on your own. So that's what we got so far, right? Is there anything else to add? Okay.
Can the professional artist contributing knowledge be my friend? Can it be an international artist? We did talk about that a little bit earlier. The answer is yes, but it is something that is decided within the cohort. So it's not, maybe your best friend is an amazing artist, but the cohort gets to have a say as well in who that person is. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, also we'll come up with a list of, there'll be several people sort of involved in, you might have 2 or 3 people that you might say, these are people I like to work with, because there's also the step of like, the consortium will like essentially reach out to these folks and talk to them about like how, what the exchange is. And so there's a process there, and they may ultimately decide it's not going to work for them. So that there's an extra step in there too, just to consider that we'll collectively decide, but there's also a few steps in between.
The asking, yeah.
And
I wanted to
availability.
Yeah, depends on the availability, and I'm doing my best to keep everybody on kind of equal terms. So everybody's getting paid around $15 an hour, and that would be the pay for also that artist. So as a mentor, they would be asked to contribute a certain amount of hours and a certain amount of meetings, but it's going to equate to about that much money. And as we know, that's not very much money to begin with. So that it will depend a lot on if the artist is able to even afford to do something like that for this amount of money. Right. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. I don't know if there's I think we answered that next question that we have on our list, Kenwyn. I see you're selecting it. Maybe the very last one. We also talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
I'll read it, and then maybe we can all comment on it. So the questions we thought somebody might have is, I have not done any work during the pandemic and I don't know what my new process is. We talked a little bit about that. How do I apply? And we talked about how to create a guide for artists to imagine different opportunities for your work to live. Do we have anything else to add on this one? I think we've talked a bit about it, about thinking outside the box, thinking about translation. This is something that I think a lot about, and it's a really fun way of, well, how can you, like, it's a play of translate this movement into song, or translate this song into movement, or translate this expression into something else. So just think about those things when, if you're really struggling with, like, whoa, how do I do this? Like, I used to throw big dance parties, and my form was communal, and how do I do that now? And we don't have answers for you. We can only help you find those answers.
Yeah, but I think, GWYN could be a definite opportunity to confront that reality, and to just allow yourself to create in this situation. I think it's important for all of us to find ways of continuing our creative work. If you're a creative being, that's part of your survival mechanism. And so, allow yourself to dream and imagine. The actor Billy Porter once said, like, if performance is something that you want to do, then you're going to do it. Even if that, means it happens in the proverbial closet that Kenwyn proposed, or, in a park. I keep going back to that closet. I'm fascinated. I want to see this
great image.
closet.
I think you might want to make a performance in your closet.
Next on my queue, or in a park, doesn't, proscenium is wonderful and awesome, but the conversation on creating contemporary movement and performance outside of the proscenium has been, a big part of an ongoing conversation in the field. 2020 is just saying, okay, let's do this. So don't be afraid to dream and imagine.
Yeah.
I think in a way, changing our processes like this, being forced to change our processes like this, is making it more accessible to people who maybe didn't have the space or means to do so. And this is an opportunity to really, dream about what you can do in this moment.
I will say, like, during our residency last year, we sort of came right from 2019 into 2020, and sort of, our core cohort and everybody who was involved in, as a supporting artist during that, like, we were all grappling with it. And I will say it was probably one of the most profound supportive artist experiences I've had, because we didn't know what to do, and we kept meeting anyway. And it was, and I found that what I made at the end, like towards the, as it sort of things unfolded and I found the strength in myself to start making again, I was surprised myself by what I could do in this moment. And I do believe it sort of helped me overall to navigate what my personal experience is in this, with all of these challenges that we're up against as a culture and a community and society. So I really encourage everybody to, even if you just use these questions as a way to ask yourself, where you're at, and you don't end up applying, like, do that. Like, or maybe, like, the process is so, it's just really, I think, good for us to get into it.
Well, I'm going to say thank you all. I'm going to also say, if anybody has any questions, Facebook message. is perfect. I'm 7 hours ahead of everybody. So while you're sleeping, I will answer. And you'll get it bright and early in the morning. Or email me, email at when you open the application, you'll see my email. Email is also good. The deadline is at the end of November. November 1st, excuse me, Cinderella
Beginning.
time.
Beginning of November.
Well, the end of November 1st.
Ah,
So it's on
the day,
November
the end of the
1st, the
day.
day of the November 1st. So when the day of November 1st ends and it's November 2nd, that's the deadline.
The cusp is November 1st.
But if you're on your computer on November 1st and it's 3 a.m. and you're submitting the application, I will absolutely take it. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's a terrible thing to do. But if you need to, it's not, yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yes.
It's not the end of the world.
I think ultimately we don't want anybody stressing out over this. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
enough stress.
that's why we're here today. Like, we really want it. Like, we're friendly people, and we want to support you with what's actually happening. So,
And we want you to create. We want you to.
Yes.
We want you to make work.
Yeah.
Let's make work and keep going.
yeah. And of course, as things go, I froze. That's a perfect ending to this Facebook Live. All right, I'm gonna end the live version of this now. Bye.